Hey there, it's Cliff at Norman's Printery. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use our templates for the candle packaging kit. So the first thing you're going to do is go to shop.normansprintery.com and navigate to the candle packaging kit. So here's all the details for the item. We've also included under design and upload your label section a PDF template and a Canva template. So depending on your needs, if you are going to design it in Canva, which is a cloud-based design program you can just use online for free, click Canva. Or if you have a design application that you use like Adobe InDesign or Illustrator or some other program where you can drop in a PDF template, I'll show you both ways, but select the one that's right for you. So first we're going to do the PDF template. So I'm going to click that, and that's going to bring up Dropbox, and you'll just download our template here by clicking download. Now before you get to your design application, note that you're going to want to start with a 2.355 by 2.73 document. And if you've never used a template like this, don't get overwhelmed with all the boxes and information. I'll explain each one, and it's not that difficult, so I'll help you through it. But do note that size, because the next step will be to go to your design application. I'm going to use Illustrator for this demo. I'm using Illustrator, but again, you could be working in InDesign or any other design application. As long as you have the ability to use layers and create a PDF from your application, you should be able to follow the steps. They won't look exactly the same in other programs, but the steps should be very similar. So like I said, go ahead and create a new document. I'm going to work in inches, and again that's 2.355 by 2.73. I'm going to work in CMYK. I'm going to switch that from RGB to CMYK. If you have that option, go ahead and do that. The reason is our press is here, print in CMYK. That's cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And you'll get much more, your results will be much closer from what you see on your screen to what gets printed if you work in CMYK. And then go ahead and work in high resolution, 300 pixels per inch or 300 dots per inch. You might say DPI in your app. But 300 or higher is standard. And that's it. So, one more quick thing here. This is important. Because bleed is already built into this document size, we're not going to include bleed. I know this is really counterproductive if you watched other videos we have for other items, or if you've designed in the past. Generally, this is not what you would do. You would make your document size the finished size, and then add bleed. But because of some special considerations, we recommend following the size you see in the PDF you downloaded and then not including bleed. And I'll walk you through why that is. So here is the document. So now we're going to drop in the file we just downloaded. I'm going to zoom out, and I'm actually going to use my alignment tools to get that centered. So you see it fits right into the document. So right away, the first thing I like to do is open my layers panel and call this layer template. And right away, I'm going to lock that. And then I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to call this one art. You could call it art or design or whatever you'd like. I also notice how I dragged the art layer underneath the template layer. I like to do that right away as well. I always like to keep my template layer at the top, and that's because it will get covered up if it's underneath your art, and as you're putting in your logo and your colors and your background, you're going to eventually not see your cut marks anymore, your template marks. So I like to keep template on top. Okay, so from here, you can get designing on your art layer, but I will walk through what these different lines are. So the first one to be aware of is the cut line. So the black line in between the two other lines, that is ultimately where this label is going to cut. So that's that line. Safety margin is if you're adding text or a logo or anything you don't want to get too close or even cut off from your edge of the label, we recommend keeping it inside of the cyan box. So let's say that you have your company name and you want it to be right up in the corner. We do not recommend putting it right here because between the print process and the cutting process, there will be some slight shifts in position from sheet to sheet, and this could very easily end up getting cut into. So we don't recommend that. We recommend keeping all your art and text that you want to stay on the label and make sure it's not getting cut into inside this area. So that being said, anything you do want to go off the edge of the page, so for instance, let's say we want a background color and we want a nice purple. What we don't want to do is make this the exact size of the cut size. We want to actually extend that to the bleed. And the reason for that is, same reason actually, there is some slight changes in position from sheet to sheet, whether in the printing process, the cutting process, or both. And if this was the exact size of the finished piece, you're gonna see some white paper peeking out anytime there's a slight variation. So by enlarging it to the bleed, we eliminate that problem. So again, I'll get to why this is even larger than bleed and why, if you've designed things with bleed in the past, this may seem different to you, having an extra large document. I'll show you why that is when we upload this to our website. But for now, just know that red box is your bleed. But you can even go beyond. If you just want to use up the entire document for your bleed, you can move your art all the way to the edges of this, and that's fine. That's no problem. But something to keep in mind that this may start to bother you as you get working on your design, to see all these boxes and text. It may feel like it's in your way. So what you can do is toggle your template layer on and off as you're designing. Use it to position your art, get your logo in, get your text in, get your art in, whatever you're designing. But then if you want to see what it would look like without that, just toggle that off. That's why I like to have it on its own layer. Okay, so once your design is done, I'll just put that purple box back in. And I'll just put a few things in here. Okay, this is my masterpiece of a label. And now I'm ready to export this. So you'll of course go ahead and save it to your computer, but what we'll need is a PDF. So I'll show you, and there are some specifics in how that PDF is made and what options are turned on. So the first thing you want to do when you're finished with your design and you're ready to upload the art and order your products is to turn off this template layer. So you turn that off, keep on your other layers, all your design layers. And in Illustrator, it's save as. In InDesign, it was going to be export. So depending on your product, it might be save as, it might be an export, but what you're trying to do is get to a PDF. So whichever option lets you save as a PDF. So I'm working in Illustrator, and by default, it's always going to go to Illustrator default unless you've saved something else. If you have PDFX for 2008, go ahead and select that, or any press quality or print quality PDF that is in your specific design program. Go ahead and select that if you don't have this X for 2008. So again, this is a little different than most ways you would export a PDF for print. We don't need bleed included because bleed is already built into this document. So you don't need marks, you don't need bleed. You can just save this as a PDF. Okay, so we've exported our print-ready document. Now we're going to go back to the Norman's Printery website, back to this candle packaging kit that we're going to order, and start the process of putting the order together. So you'll select your quantity. You'll select your paper. We have 100% post-consumer white, 30% consumer, post-consumer craft brown, and deep black. So you'll select whichever of those you'd like. This is an order, shipping estimate fields here. If you want to see how much the shipping is going to be before you get to your cart, you can enter that. The next step will be to click Customize Order. And now this will bring up the screen where you're going to upload the art we just created. So you can click the center there, or you can click Place Image. Either way, it brings up this upload field. So I'm going to navigate to our label, drag it in. You don't have to touch anything on this screen. If you followed the steps and created the document the size that it said in the template, you don't have to touch anything here. You'll just click Finish Cropping. And this drops it in exactly the way we need it. So you don't have to move anything or rotate anything or resize anything. You'll just click Finish Editing. So again, the reason that we made that document the size that we did and handle bleed a little differently is so that we could just upload this without having to resize anything. We wanted to make this process as simple as possible. So by creating the document the size that we did and exporting it with no bleed, just that full document size, bleed is already included on here, and you don't have to worry about anything on this end. You just upload it and click Finish Editing. Here you'll review your art, make sure it looks the way you want it to, and continue. And that's all. That is the art, the template and uploading your art part of ordering this kit. So from this kit, you'll get 2 labels for every candle, so one for the carton and one for the vessel itself. From here, you'll just be able to check out, either create account or log in, or a guest checkout, and we take it from there. All right, I hope this was helpful, and feel free to reach out if you have questions about the process.